Good evening. Scottish Labour say they have a clear position on Brexit after a bid to back single market membership was quashed at conference. The issue sparked some jeers, with others calling for unity. From Dundee, here's our political correspondent Andrew Kerr.
Time to pack up your bags at the end of the conference, but not all the troubles were packed up. This morning, an airing of the big row that's dominated. Labour say they've adopted a clear Brexit position, but it makes no mention of single market membership. Some delegates say the leadership thwarted their attempts for their motions on single market membership to go to a vote.
The SAC shouldn't have interfered with the democratic process of conference.
As some jeered, the leadership position was put forward.
I want all of us to leave conference today united in putting people's jobs, livelihoods and communities first.
This morning, the Scottish leader rubbished suggestions that Labour's against the single market because of immigration concerns.
It's a cheap stunt to try to score party political points around what is a very serious issue, because Brexit, no matter what you think of single market membership, not single market membership, Brexit is a hugely important political challenge that we all face.
Richard talks about his credentials as a trade unionist, but all the trade unions want us to stay in the single market. The STUC wants us to stay in the single market in order to protect workers wherever they're from.
We're told the Brexit debate here at this conference is not about personalities, not about factions, but it does often feel like a battle between left and right. Andrew Kerr, reporting Scotland, Dundee.
The Scottish Conservative leader Ruth Davidson and the UK Environment Secretary Michael Gove have called for the UK to leave the common fisheries policy when Britain leaves the European Union. They say the UK must regain control over its own fisheries. The Scottish Fishermen's Federation backed that and demanded fairer shares for its members. The SNP has warned of a betrayal by the UK government on Scottish fishing. And SNP MSPs called on Scottish Parliament bosses to remove a former party colleague who admitted inappropriate behaviour towards women. James Dornan says he's making an official complaint to Holyrood authorities about Mark MacDonald. Nina MacLeod reports.
James Dornan, like many MSPs, has distanced himself from Mark MacDonald. He said one of the women affected has been left traumatised.
The Scottish Parliament has a duty of care to the people who work within it, and I accept that includes Mark MacDonald. However, more importantly are the staff who were affected by Mark MacDonald's actions, and I think that the Standards and Procedures Committee should look very seriously at what I've suggested and what I'll be putting in my complaint tomorrow, that Mr MacDonald is not welcome back in Scottish Parliament.
Mr Dornan says under parliamentary rules, Mr MacDonald, who resigned as a minister and from the SNP, can come back to Holyrood as the independent member for Aberdeen Donside. Mark MacDonald has apologised for his behaviour and he's expected back in Parliament this week. He told the BBC today he was unavailable for comment. Nina MacLeod, reporting Scotland.
Scotland's Arts Agency says the Scottish Youth Theatre could be saved from closure with alternative funding. The theatre said it would have to shut after failing to win regular funding from Creative Scotland. But the agency's chief executive told the BBC it might still be able to help plug the gap. Andrew Black reports.
These actors are getting ready for the Scottish Youth Theatre's National Ensemble Tour, which could be its final production. The Youth Theatre's down a third of its budget because it didn't secure 3-year regular funding from Creative Scotland. But the agency's boss said it may be able to help the Youth Theatre by awarding it alternative project funding, which it can apply for on a case-by-case basis.
It's under huge pressure, so we're only able to fund 1 in 3 of the applications that come in, but there is a possibility that Scottish Youth Theatre could come into open project funding and be successful.
Meanwhile, the Youth Theatre's working on a plan to win direct Scottish Government funding by making the case for national company status.
We're not looking for just a simple handout. We want to be strategic about this. We've still got a bit of a way to go to get ourselves, I think, to earn that title. But we're absolutely up and ready for that.
Leaders here at the Youth Theatre are meeting with the Scottish Government next week. It's hoped that by then a solution will have been found to keep this organisation running. Andrew Black, reporting Scotland, Glasgow.
Celtic have moved 9 points clear of rivals Rangers after a 3-2 victory in Old Firm derby at Ibrox. Here's a senior football reporter, Chris McLaughlin.
In the build-up, Rangers fancied their chances. After less than 3 minutes, they showed why. Windass 1-0, Ibrox mayhem. The champions refused to buckle though, stepped forward Rogic. But the home side poured forward. This time Candeas found the net. Advantage Rangers again. In a breathless first half though, Dembele levelled before the break.
Typical Celtic, just refusing to budge.
Then a red card, followed by a sensational winner. Dembele to Edouard, and game over. Title race over also? Probably. Chris McLaughlin, reporting Scotland.
And at the Winter Paralympics in South Korea, Britain's Millie Knight and Brett Wild won silver in the Super G skiing. It was the second silver medal for Knight, who has only 5% vision, and her guide Wild, who's from Bearsden. Time for the weather forecast now. Causes at the map.
Thanks, Graham. Well, for most of us today was a decent day. We had some good spells of sunshine around for this Mothering Sunday. This scene sent in from one of our weather watchers in Lossiemouth and Murray with some bright blue skies. And for the start of this evening, at least, it will be dry for many. Some clear spells across parts of the northwest, but more in the way of cloud building across the south during the course of the night. And there'll be some low cloud across the east too, with some patches of mist and fog. Maybe 1 or 2 showery outbreaks of rain across Dumfries and Galloway, and temperatures dipping to around 1 to 4 Celsius. For tomorrow then, initially a dry start, but there will be more in the way of cloud around, especially across the south of the country. Some outbreaks of light and patchy rain and drizzle around, some mist and fog. And a wider look at the rest of the UK. And we have an area of low pressure across England and Wales, bringing some outbreaks of rain here. Now, temperatures vary from around 7 to 11 degrees. For Shetland, though, it remains cooler with more of a breeze. Looking ahead then, well, this area of low pressure does shift away further towards the east. And for Tuesday, it's a day of improvement, a day between weather systems, although we do have this edge of a weather system across parts of the north, bringing some outbreaks of rain at times, but the winds will be lighter as well. So for Tuesday, dry for many apart from the far north, and we'll see some spells of sunshine developing, most likely across the west, and temperatures ranging from around 7 to 11 degrees with light winds. That's your forecast.
That's all for now. Our next bulletin is just after the 10 o'clock news. From all of us, have a very good night. Bye-bye.